And let me quickly share my screen so we can get started with the today's topic. So in today's session, it's going to be very interesting because it's one of my personal favorite products, which is UiPath Task Mining. About this product, before we get started, what is UiPath Task Mining? Because we all are new to this particular product. UiPath Task Mining is an automation opportunity discovery services product. It collects employees' desktop data comprising of screenshot and log the data upon each user's action. Now, the user can perform any action such as mouse click, keystrokes. Hello.
দেখেন না ভাই ও করবে না ও তার পেতে ঢুকতেছে
Can you please mute yourself? Just a second.
Yeah, I've done that. But
Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah, where was I? So I was talking about what type of data we can collect from employees' desktop. So we can collect data such as mouse clicks, keystrokes, and anything that user does on the machine, and all the data will be collected. And then task mining runs a machine learning model to analyze the data and suggest list of processes with high automation potential and what can be automated out of these processes. Now, obviously, task mining is not going to do that within 1 day, 2 days of period. So we have to run this process on user's machine or employee's desktop at least for over 1 week or 2 weeks of period to identify potential use cases and to identify best out of what is being extracted from the machine or employee's desktop. The integration of automation cloud allows you to easily switch between multiple tenants and enhance your overall experience with the platform. And that's where now that we have task mining available on automation cloud, it's even more easy to use. In our today's session, we are going to look at what is task mining, how it is different than other products, and why it is AI enabled product also, as well as how we can use it. We will look at the entire flow, and around the end, as Vibor has mentioned, we have a small quiz. So the winner of the quiz will definitely get some awesome goodie. So stay tuned throughout the session. Now, let me move on to the next slide. So what are we going to learn? And before I jump on what are we going to learn, let me tell you, task mining allows you or allows customer to record their actions of the selected users and analyze all that data. So it's going to be a fun because I am going to do it live on in this session today, and we are going to look at how it can be used. So first of all, we have seen what is UiPath task mining. We will look at how we can use it, how it is different than Automation Hub and Task Capture, which is the most asked question to me on UiPath task mining. And then we will talk about the features of UiPath task mining. The first thing, importance of task mining. So there are many benefits that are there related to UiPath task mining. The first thing is to RPA COE leaders, efficiently discovering automation opportunities and effectively engaging the business team by demonstrating an objective view of the opportunities. Now, whatever I said means that all at a fraction of the time and cost versus traditional consulting tech lead opportunities will be open for all the RPA COEs, and we can efficiently discover the automation opportunities from the processes. Whenever a customer approaches our organization, not always customer has idea of what to automate. Customer can anytime come up with the idea of what can be automated, and we just want to get started with the digitization. So what are the processes that we can automate? Customer are sometimes open for suggestions, opportunities, and identifying the processes from their current existing processes. They just want to get started with the digitization. They just want to bring in automation in their current process. Now at this phase, UiPath's discovery phase comes into picture. In the discover phase, we have UiPath task mining, we have UiPath automation hub, task capture, and UiPath process mining, out of which we are looking at UiPath task mining. So once the organization receives the first results of automation and it's looking at to scale RPA to a new level, there are definitely three main challenges which we are looking at the screen right now. First, how can we identify most promising RPA opportunity in our company? Second, how can we get the data-backed data-backed facts to prioritize RPA pipeline? And the third is how can we use a centralized approach to govern the whole discovery process? With this, we will quickly look at the next slide, what UiPath task mining actually offers. So UiPath task mining comes into a phase of discover right here. Now, we all are already familiar that UiPath is first in class to call themselves as a fully automated enterprise. And because we have so many products, which leads to fully automated enterprise experience, where we have different phases such as discover, build, manage, run, engage, and measure, out of which we have seen the task mining comes under the discover phase. Now, task mining does what and how does it use AI? That is the main question that everybody has in mind. So, task mining actually utilizes AI to automatically capture and analyze the day to day tasks performed by the employee to construct a scientific process map. It actually constructs a scientific process map and suggests the automation ideas with the highest ROI potential. But for that, you need to train your particular robot or a machine learning model, which is AI model, which will be used to predict this. You have to train it with a very high quality of data. And that's where huge volume of data comes into picture. This product actually belongs to discovery phase. Now, most asked question, and most of you will also have this question in your mind, is what is the difference in the task mining and the process mining? So there are two products which comes under discovery phase. First one is a task mining. Second one is a discovery mining, process mining. Also, there is automation hub and task capture. But task mining and process mining, this both are having a little bit of difference. The first thing, task mining document and analyzes the front-end process tasks, while process mining analyzes and monitors the back-end process logs. So difference is that task mining and process mining both helps you understand and identify processes which can be automated or potential processes which can be automated and can bring in huge ROI. But task mining gets that data from front end processes, while process mining gets that data from back end processes. So process mining is a whole different product to talk about, and that we can do sometime later in our upcoming sessions. But today we will focus more on task mining and how we can utilize task mining. Now, the main difference between both the products, if I have to talk with an example, so the process mining, let's take an example of process mining. So process mining, let's take an example of a SAP process. If a SAP process is to create a PO, a purchase order. So in the process mining, what happens? Creating PO, approve requests, create PO, and receive goods. The backend data, strategic insights will be captured from the backend data, and those insights will be captured, and on those data, process mining will work to capture what can be automated or what are the potential values we can bring in from this particular data. While task mining focuses more on the front end part, like how we open the SAP, how we click on the PO, how we select the invoice number, then how do we click on OK. So it's like the front end processes is being identified and is being monitored by task mining. And then based on this front end recording, the detailed operational insights will be given to the user. I hope this clears the concept, or this clears the confusion in the mind between process mining and task mining. So this is major confusion between for all of us, but this small example can help us understand how task mining is different than process mining. Now, how is it different than automation hub and task mining and task capture? So all we know that automation hub came last year with a really awesome offering where we have crowdsource ideas from our employees. We have identify and manage automation pipelines. We can create and we can store process documents also, right? And also in the task capture, we can do the same. We can, look at the your human's computer or machine while he is operating. We can capture the data. It can also generate, or it can also export a workflow. It can also export a PDD, process design document, from task capture. So in task mining, same thing happens. Then why is it different? Because task capture can capture the data that you literally show it. So it is not going to, with brains. Task capture is without brains. Task capture is a robot without brain, while task mining is a robot with brains, which understands what are the processes that are actually automation pieces, and that can be separated and that can be trained on. So that's the whole point about automation hub and the task mining. So task mining just simply uses AI, and that's why it is on a different level used. Now coming to the main question, how can we use task mining? And that's where I would love to show you that I have already built one use case, but also at the same time, we will create one process from scratch so we can all understand how task mining actually works. Okay. But before we jump on its working, what are the use cases of task mining? Let's have a quick talk about that. So the use cases of task mining. First of all, identifying automation opportunities. That is the main purpose of it. The processes that have repeated and frequent in users' action are mostly focused and emphasized. Understanding the frequent path and variances of the candidate's process to possibly standardize and agree on the process of the automation, which means that if I'm looking at a process where the process path or doing something is not fixed, the process of the steps of the particular process is not fixed. Candidate is doing that particular process in many different ways, but we can standardize a specific way by doing it by using task mining because it captures all the instances of each and every process. I will show you that how it works. Then document and details of candidate process to accelerate development of automation. Now, when we talk about document the details of candidate, by means of that, we can actually export a Word document, which is a PDD. We can also export a workflow from UiPath, task mining. So how we can do that, let's have a quick look at that, and let's go ahead and let's get started with how can we enable the services and how can we get access to task mining. So before we jump on usability, let's start looking at how can we enable task mining in our UiPath platform. So let me navigate quickly to our cloud, which is cloud.uipath.com. Now, all we know that cloud.uipath.com will give us access to our cloud platform. Let me quickly log in with my cloud platform. Okay, so it's sending me some notification just to verify my ID. Okay, now that we are in our cloud.uipath.com, so out of this, I'm just going to select one of the cloud account. Okay, now on our automation cloud, in order to use task mining, we have to enable a couple of services. Now, how do we enable the services? So first of all, we have to go to admin. Task mining as of now will be available for the enterprise users. So first of all, we'll have to verify the licenses. So I have enterprise plan, and also I have to verify whether I have a task mining access. So I have task mining one license. I have only one license of task mining. Now this one license is required to enable task mining on a given tenant, unlimited number of users, projects, and recorded data. Be sure to allocate an AI robot license in the same tenant to be able to store the analyzed data. Now, this is really important note because in order to use task mining, AI robot is necessary. So we need to also allocate one AI robot along with task mining to a specific tenant service. Now, I will quickly go back to my tenant. Now, this is my tenant, which is UiPath MVP. What I will do is I will simply click on here and I will say tenant settings. I will just make sure that the task mining and AI center, both the settings are enabled. If both of them are enabled, I can quickly go back, and if I refresh, I can see task mining and AI center on the left rails. As you can see, I can see the task mining on my left rail. Oh, sorry, I clicked on my orchestrator. That's fine. It'll load orchestrator immediately. Okay, skip. So as you can see, I have task mining and AI center on my left rails here on the cloud platform. So we will quickly go ahead and we will click on task mining. Now, before we start creating a project in task mining, so also as you can see, as soon as I clicked on task mining, I can see that UiPath Task Mining analyzes your employees' desktop activities using AI to determine best automation opportunities. And it gives you a short glimpse of what task mining is. You also get a tutorial where you can get started and it will drive you through the entire experience of task mining, which is good and which is awesome. So we will look at that also, but as of now, we don't want to. So we'll click on later. Now I already have one project, which is Acme project. I will explain this project later, but let's look at how can we create a project from scratch. Now, before I start creating the project, all I have to do is the people or the person who is going to install task mining application on their machine, and from whose machine or from whose desktop we are going to analyze the process, we need to add that user. Now remember, in order to give access to the task mining or in order to share the task mining application, you have to add the user to the specific tenant. Now my tenant is UiPath MVP. What I will do is I will simply click on admin. In the admin, in the users and groups, I have two users here. One is Nisar Kadam 23, another one is Digital Nisar 23. The first one is the admin of this particular account. The second one is the user which I added and I gave the automation user and administrator access. But that depends on you, which type of access you can give. You can give automation user, you can give automation developer, that depends on you. So you can add users. Now, if you don't want to keep on adding single users, you can add users in bulk. So you can click on bulk invite. You can import users by uploading a CSV file. You can check file format requirements. Now, can anybody quickly give me a count? How many people we can add at one moment using upload CSV, using bulk invite? Can anybody quickly answer me in the chat section? What is the limit of bulk invite? Anyone? We'll wait for 2 seconds, 5 seconds here. Okay, I have an answer. Let me quickly look at it. So Shivam has answered 1K. Any guesses? What is the limit? So Shivam, let me confirm whether your answer is correct or wrong, but let somebody else guess. So Utpala says unlimited. Shivam says 1K. Any more guesses? Aishwarya says 500. Okay. Any more answers? Okay, so we'll close on this question. So we have three answers. Neetal says 10K. Okay, so it's an interesting question. I want you guys to hold on to this question because this question will be asked in our the quiz that we are going to have later. So stay tuned, and I hope to see the answer around the end of the session. So there is a certain limit on which we can upload in or we can invite to the specific meeting, specific UiPath orchestrator, and that's where we can add the data. So let's close this. Now we have Nisar Kadam, we have Digital Nisar. Now what we can do is let's go to task mining quickly. We are going to create a project. So what we are going to do is we're going to click on add a project. We are going to give it a name as, let's say, UI demo automation. Description is something, trying task mining or demonstration. And I'm going to quickly go ahead and save it. So I have created a new project which says UI demo automation. I'm going to click on it. Now, as of now, you can see the team is 0, processed user actions are 0%, total volume of data is 0 GB, total recorded time and application requested are all 0. So let's go ahead and let's explore how task mining actually works. So we created one project, then we clicked on the project. Now we are in the overview page. In the overview page, it is asking us to invite user by start exploration of the team whose workflow is going to be observed by inviting the users. So I will go back to team. I will say send installer and invite. So I'll click here. I will say I want to send to. Now, as you add your user, you can see all the users in this list of send to. Now I can see my user, which is digital Nasir. So I'll simply click on it. I'll send a message that I want to, or we are sending a installer, right? So we will say, please install and connect with the orchestrator to get started with the task mining. I will simply send a message along with the invitation. Now I can choose which type of invitation do I have to send. Do I have to send the MSI installer or EXE installer? I can choose this, and I will just simply choose EXE installer. And in order to learn more, I will copy this link. This is one of the most important link, which will also be sent to the user. So I'll simply go ahead and click on send. Now, once I send, it says success. You have invited one user to project UI demo automation, and you can see back to the users list. Now, let's quickly go back to my email where I have received the email. So I'm opening my email right now, and I have received one email, which is this task mining invitation to UI demo automation. Now, this email I have just received, which says you are invited to join UiPath task mining. Hi, Mr. Kadam. And the message that we have sent, we can see the message right here. The organization is Mr. 23, tenant is UiPath MVP. You can click here and install now. And you have quick links where you have user guide, skill up, connect, and contact for assistance. So this is a well automated email, which is sent automatically by task mining to the user. Now, I don't have to show you how I can download it because I have already downloaded UiPath Task Mining Setup. I have downloaded and have already installed it. But I have not connected with my orchestrator because I want to show you how it actually works. So I have already downloaded Task Mining Setup, which is already a 580 MB of application. So once I download the application, I can install it. As soon as I install, I can find it in my Task Mining section right here. I will click on it. And as soon as I click on it, this is how the UiPath task mining application looks like. So let it load. And this is how it looks. So it says sign in. Welcome to task mining. Please sign in using UiPath account. Sign in with UiPath proxy settings are also there. So perfect. We have received the email. We have got this. Now let's go back to task mining, which is this one. Now that we have already invited the team member, let's make sure to sign in with UiPath. So I'll simply click on here on the application of task mining. I will click on sign in with UiPath. It will automatically sign in. It will ask me always allow cloud or open UiPath to open the link of this type of associated applications. I will say open task mining, and it is logged in. Yes, and it is logged in. The next step that we have to do once we sign in, the next step that we have to do is we have to select the tenant. Now I have two tenants here. One is Nisarg, one is UiPath MVP. I will select the tenant of MVP, and I will say continue. Now, once I say continue, the task mining is the application is connected with my task mining application. How do I know that? So let's go ahead and let's refresh this page. And you can see user image, user email, and the user is online. And the status right now is there's a start button here. Last activity is 8 seconds ago, time capture. So there's no process captured as of now. And we don't have any process. Now let's go ahead and once we have, so what are the steps that we did? So let me just recap very quickly so that everyone, the people who have joined recently can have an idea of what we are doing. So we enabled UiPath Task Mining and AI Center both in our admin. Then we created this project of UI demo application. Then we invited a user using invite user link. We got this email for an invited user. We clicked on install now. We installed UiPath Task Mining application. Now, once we installed, we have the team member added in the UiPath team. Now, let's quickly go ahead and jump on the settings. Now, in the settings, we have please review and edit the configuration settings to start the recording for the users. Now, let's quickly have a look at what are things are available right here. So first thing is you can click on edit. So configure upcoming output. Now, there are two options. Either you can continuously keep on uploading the data that is being recorded, or you can upload it directly via shared drive, right? So there are two different things about it. The first thing is you can keep on doing this, or the second thing is you can upload it via shared drive. But I would prefer continuous recommended, and it has to be connected with the AI center because this is a recommended way. Now, in order to connect it with the AI Center project, I first of all have to create a project in the AI Center because I have to automatically select it right here. So before I do anything in the settings option, I will go ahead and I will click on UiPath AI Center. Okay. Now I have clicked on UiPath AS Center. Now what we are going to do is we are going to simply create a project. So let's say create a project, and we are going to call it here Excel, or we can say UI demo automation. And we are just going to say this is task mining, and I'm going to click on create. Now I have created simply one process. Now, once I have created this process, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go ahead and go back to my task mining, because I'm not going to do anything here. In the data set, you can see the data set is blank. We just created this fresh project in UiPath, right? Also UiPath AI Center. So I'm not going to do anything here. I'm going to go ahead and simply, just a second. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and click on task mining, close this. And in the task mining, in the settings, now this time I will click on edit, and I will choose the project, which is UI demo app automation. In the analysis name, you have to give a dataset name, which will be automatically created. Now we have already seen there was no dataset. So let me create a dataset with the name of UI demo process, or UI demo, or just a UI demo. That's it. And I will save this, and I will say to apply new settings, existing configuration statistics will be changed, and note that the data stored in the network shared folder or AI center is not removed automatically. Please empty the storage manually. So in case if your data is being stored on network shared folder or AI center, it won't be removed automatically. That is being showed to you is because the data privacy is really important. And that's where we can click on say reset and save. So we are resetting and saving the new settings that we have. So I have now selected a project in AI Center. And once I selected this project, let's go ahead and let's get started with how can we add the recording applications. So click on record apps. Now adding the application, there are two ways to add the application. The one way is by we can add it from here, globally recorded applications, and another is recorded on individuals users request, right? So globally means if I declare an application right here, that application will by default be recorded, and that application cannot be removed at the UiPath task mining level or application level. You can see here recorded apps, there is no applications right here. If I add application from here, this is the application which I have added recorded on the individual user's request. But if I add application on the global, that application user cannot delete. Now, what do I mean by adding application? The application that you are supposed to automate or that you're supposed to capture data from, you have to add it here. Now, why this is a feature is because UiPath task mining focuses more on the security and the data privacy, because we do not want to record the applications which are not in the scope of our automation. We only want to record the application which are within the scope of automation. Now, in my case, I have an application called as uidemo.exe, which is a small application, which is this one. Now, in this application, I have a couple of, okay, why is it not logging in? Okay, so this is the application. Now, in this application, I have only cache in, cache honors, not honors check, and so a couple of data to do. Now, in my automation scope, I have only this application in my scope, and I want to pass data from this input Excel, which is this one right here. So this is the Excel from which I want to capture the data. This is the data. And then I want to update the status as successful. Now, as this is my automation scope, I will only add two applications in my recorded applications as a global request. So I will click on add app, and I will just say UI demo.exe. Click on add. Then I will add Excel application, which is excel.exe. And I will click on add. That's it. So I have added two applications right here. And in case if I click on task mining here, I can see the both applications have been added now to the task mining's connector, which is there on our local machine. You can see these both applications. You cannot delete this application. If I create an application right from here, I can select any application. I can select the app right from here. You have feature to select your own application if you have any custom application that you want to select. and you can do that. But it has to be exe format. Always remember. But that application will be considered as a recorded application. Now let me go back and let's proceed with the further step. Once we have recorded application selected, let's go ahead and let's look at goals. So we have a couple of goals. So we can set project goal of having a specific recording data, let's say 5 GB, 10 GB. We can have a specific hours of time restricted, or the minimum recommended time is 60 hours. Now we can set goals per user. So project goal, I mean overall project, we can set the goals that we do not want data more than 5 GB or 10 GB, whatever that you want. We do not want more than 50 hours or 60 hours of data. So you can set the goals on the project level. On the user level, we have goals such as user max volume data in GB and user max recording time in hours. And also you have a couple of options here. After user achieved at least one of the goal, do we need to stop the recording or do not stop the recording? So we have that option. We can click on edit and we have option of stop recording or don't stop recording. So that is something which is very detailed from a project goal perspective and user perspective. Let's click on data collection policies. We have data collection policies and we can say, show at every start of 7 days. So show the consent dialog for users. This is really important because asking consent to user before starting any automation or before starting to capture the data is really, really important. That's what defines the privacy of this application. And finally, once we have completed all the settings, in the discovery results, we will get the data later in the picture. As of now, there is no data. So no data has been captured yet. Check the recording details and go to the team page. We can add this data later. So let's go back. Now we have one team member. We have our application, both applications, and we have our task mining also installed. So how do we get started with the recording? That is our question. So you have to go to team, click on start from here. Now, as soon as I click on start, remember, this is one of the most important phase of the task mining because it is asking consent to user before capturing the data. So your work will now start to be recorded with the task mining recorder applications. If your information will be used as described here, they have also given official information. Do you consent? If you accept, the application will automatically get started recording. The applications which are globally accepted will automatically get started recording, and the applications that you want to record, you can manually add them in the user's pane. So let's click on accept. As soon as I click on accept, my Excel application has already started recording and my UI demo application is already also has started recording. How do I know that? So I will show you how do we know that. So let's go ahead and let's start adding the data. So cache in, I will copy this data. I will come here. I will add this data right here. I will go to honest check. I will copy the data, come back in the UI demo application and paste it here. Not honest check. I will copy the data, come back here and paste it right here. And I will say accept. Now, once I add this entry, I will click on the status and say completed. Now I will add the next data. So this way, whatever user is doing, now I am doing on the purpose, I'm doing a repeated process. But that is why we need to capture more data because user can do anything that they want, but the pattern of the process will be captured. So right now I'm just completing the data or I'm just copying some of the process just to give it a hang that how this process will be captured. Copy, honest check. I'm clicking on this one, copying not honest check. So I'll not go with much more data. I'll just perform only a couple of rows. Oh, I forgot to mark it as completed. And then I will copy this data, come back here, add cache in, copy honest check. So ideally, what I am doing is I'm just explaining you, and that's where I'm just adding a small data. But in real life, we need to add much more data in order to give it to machine learning to extract from a wider set of data range, because the more data is there, the more accurate the machine will be. Let me just copy it, paste it here. Let's check, copy it, paste it here, and accept, and mark it as completed. And I will stop when I'm bored. So I'll just stop after 1 or 2 minutes. So let me add this data, add this for one more round, and I will just go ahead and add the data here on the cache in, honest check, not honest check. And I'm doing this on purpose. So don't think that you have to do only repeated processes. And then what is the purpose of using task mining, right? So I'm just doing this for the demonstration purpose, but the user can do it in any way that the user want. And that's where users click will be captured right here. Let me put it here. Oh, sorry, there's some problem with the data. Okay, no problem. So I can just copy the data. I can put it here and I can say accept, and that's it. So as of now, for the demonstration purpose, I'll just do 8 rows and I will just stop it here. Now what I will do is I will simply go back, or you can also see the task mining application right here. So click on this and you can see the UiPath task mining application is running. So you can pause it, or you can stop it. You can only pause it from here. You can't stop it, right? So all you have to do is come here. You can see in the task mining status, it's showing as recording. So I will go back and I will say stop recording. Now, as soon as I say stop recording, automatically you can see, I will refresh. You can see the last activity before 4 seconds ago, time captured is 2 minutes and 41 seconds of process is being captured. Data captured is 16 MB of data was captured while I was doing this process, including images, including the process. Ready for analysis, 40%, upload 33%. So refresh and you can get the data right here. So there are total 55 steps maybe for ready for analysis out of 136 steps that we have done overall. Now what do we have to do? Now we have seen how to create a project, how to assign a team member, how to create a AI center project, then how to add that AI center project in the settings, how to get started with the recording. We have also recorded a couple of steps using task mining. And now we have stopped the process. Now what we will do is once we complete all this, let's go back to UiPath AI Center. So I will go back here. Now in the AI Center, where it is open, okay, it's here, right here. Now in the AI Center, we created this project UI demo automation, and there was no data set, but now you can see the data set has been published here or uploaded here automatically by task mining. If you click here, there will be a couple of data which is copied in the directory, and you can have a look at the data, images, all this data is right here in the data set. Now you have to go to ML packages, click on out of the box package and select UiPath task mining and select the TM analyzer model. This model is retrainable with a version of 10.0. Click on submit. We will say Acme task mining. I will just give it a short form as TM. Submit. So I have created or selected ML package right here. Now, the data set which got uploaded here was automatically by task mining because we did that in settings. Now, once we have the data set, we have selected the ML package. We will click on the pipeline and we will say create new pipeline and we will click on evaluation pipeline. Now, remember, in order to use UiPath task mining, we have to use only evaluation pipeline. We cannot train the model. Train model will fail. So you have to add evaluation pipeline here. So let's add evaluation pipeline run. Choose the model that we just created, package version 10, binder package version 0, and the data set which is available in the data set. Remember, we gave the name of the data set as UI demo, so we will click on that. Then we don't need any environment parameters as of now, and I don't have GPU along with my license, so I will not be able to enable the GPU. GPU just helps you get the process faster. So I don't have the GPU right now, and I want to run now. So I will simply click on create, and my process is now packaging. In the meantime, while it is packaging, we'll just wait for a couple of seconds because it will just wait for some time to get this process running and executing. Till the time we will not get the data in the discovery results. Now, before we get the data in the discovery results, or before it predicts what can be automated in the discovery results, let's have a quick look at what it says. So it says that start the analysis if at least 40K actions have been uploaded. Now that is the recommended number, because now what I have done is I have just given you a sample overview, but the actual process has to be at least 40K actions. And for optimal results, it is recommended starting the analysis when at least 100K to 200K actions are processed. So that's where you have to start analysis only when 100 to 200k actions are processed, and you have to start analysis maybe at least minimum 40k actions are recorded, but we have recorded only hundreds of steps. So obviously we are not going to get that optimistic result. We need to use it in an extensive level, and it's a very vast product where that's what I said in the first line, that we have to capture at least 1 week or 2 weeks of data from user to get the best of the results right from here. So in order to do that, let's quickly go ahead and let's go back to our PPT before we get our ML model executed. So I will say from the current slide. So let's quickly recap that what we have done. The first thing that we have done is we have added the user to our UiPath cloud platform. Then once we added the user, what we did is we added that user in the UiPath task mining project. We created a task mining project. We added and we invited that user. Once we invited the user received email. We downloaded the application exe. We installed the application, opened the application, and then we have the user right here in the team. Then the application, whatever application that you want to record. So in the previous result, I have already trained one model, which I will show you right now, how this actually looks, how the discovery phase looks, and how it discovers the process. We will quickly jump on that. And then we can create a project in AI Center, where I created a project of Acme previously, and you can see the uploaded data set right here. And then task mining overview page. So in the overview page, you can see how much of data is uploaded, what is the processed actions, and what is the total recorded time, and what are the applications requested. And then we can run the validation pipeline, which we have done. So we have completed our process till this particular period of time. Now let's quickly go back before we move any further. Let's go back to our UiPath task mining, and let's have a quick look at what we have already done. So yesterday I have already trained one small process of UiPath Acme, where I have, so once the model executes in AI Center, you can get the results in the discovery process and discovery results just like this. Now here I can see the analysis of Acme is already done. There are total 3 tasks which have been identified. The total time was 6 minutes and 12 seconds. And there is only one user. There are 222 actions, 2 applications, and investigation period. We'll click on this. This is how UiPath task mining analysis kind of look like, or discovery results kind of looks like. Now this analysis overview shows us that there are total 3 tasks, action captured, total time, users. What are the percentage of application used in overall automation? Chrome is being used for 50% and Excel application was used for 49%, almost equally. And what are the applications, or what are the processes which are analyzed and identified by task mining? So I clicked on the first. So there are total 2 processes, out of which I clicked on the first one. In the first one, which is Acme data capture, I have a couple of traces. Now I have already told you, the more number of times you do a specific process, all the traces will be identified. If we remember, while we were introducing our UiPath task mining, we kind of had one use case. In the use cases, we also saw that understanding the frequent path and the variance of a particular process. So these are the multiple process variances, all the traces of a same process being done repeatedly, out of which you can choose any process. I have bookmarked specially here number 20 trace because it's more perfect. Now, when I click on a specific trace, what it says, and it shows you that there are total 2 steps, 4 actions, and specific number. Now we have apps. We have Excel application exe, 3 steps, and Chrome 1 step. So there are total 4 actions. Out of the 4 actions, 3 actions have been performed on the Excel application. 1 action have been performed on the Chrome application. And there is also a slideshow, which is showing you along with the screenshots what is happening. You can have the step ID, action name, and action ID as well in the trace. And now you can export it to the PDD and export it as a studio workflow also. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and I'm going to say export as a PDD. So it will start exporting file ID -0, which is the name of this particular ID. You can change it from here. Trace 20 is being exported to PDD. While it is exporting, we can click on here and we can have a quick look at what data it captures. So it captures all the process every data that I have been doing throughout entire Excel operations. So it captures all the information with the screenshots and it shows you here that what was information. So you see here on the screenshot, WIID, type, status, date, everything has been captured. Also here we have, WIID, type, status, and date. So this data is being captured right here. And we have all that information available with the screenshots. And it has captured all the information along with the screenshots for the Excel. For the second process, which is capturing the work items of Acme, it has captured all that also in screenshots. You can see here, I was copying WIID, I was copying the type also. So let me show you how I was copying it. See, look at it. I was copying the type, I was clicking on the status, I was copying the status. So it is capturing literally each and every move that I have done in the overall process. And it gives all the data with the screenshots right here. So that we have seen, we have exported the PDD. So here the PDD is available for us to download. So we will click on save and it will automatically download on our machine. At the same moment, while we download it, we also have one email received from Task Mining, which we can look at here. This one also gives you that task ID traces were exported successfully, and you can also receive it on the email, and you can have a look at the PDD on the email, which is the awesome feature that I found. Let's quickly open it. And before we open this one, let's also export UiPath Studio, export it to Studio. In the meantime, while we have a look at it, we'll quickly go back and we'll have a look at the document PDD which is generated. So I'll open the PDD. So this is how the process design document, which is automatically generated by task mining, kind of looks like. So this is UiPath task mining ID 0. You can have a look at table of content, process definition document, table of content, introduction, purpose of the document. So you can look at all the details, purpose of the document, what is the purpose, what is the key contacts, you can add the dates, details here. So this is kind of a skeleton generated. The task description, task name is ID 0, Acme project, what time of execution you took. Now this is a very small process and that's why you see very small updates here. But the bigger the process is, the bigger the process design document is going to be and the more detailed steps will be added here in the task overview. You can see exported dress overview, how many number of steps, how many number of actions, what was the time required, what is the user. We can also look at the applications being used. We can also have a look at the trace action along with the screenshot. Isn't it wonderful? So the screenshots are also attached right here along with the process design document, even the work item. So everything is being very detailed and thorough. So we'll close this PDD and let's have a look at, it has also downloaded the workflow. So let's quickly download the workflow also, and let's have a look at how this workflow looks like. So I'll click on show in the folder. I'll export it to a folder. So it downloads a zip file along with, it gives you screenshots and it also gives you .xml, which automatically generates a workflow, which is a UiPath Studio workflow. Isn't that cool? Isn't that great? So it automatically generates a UiPath process design document. Along with that, it has also generated UiPath, a skeleton. And now let's see what this skeleton has to offer for us and what information does it have. So basically, I just did some small process, repeated process. That's why it's, the process and the workflows are small. So you can see here, I have click activity on the Excel. I have type activity in the Excel where I can add the data right here. And you can look at this. You also have selectors. So it also remembers selectors, what selectors are actually worked on, what was the title of this particular Excel, which I can modify later if I want to. But the more important point is it gave me entire skeleton. It gave me skeleton of enter the data in Excel, capture the work item from the Chrome browser. Now look at this and have a look at the selector. It also captured the selector of the Chrome browser of the work items. Isn't it wonderful? So it just created a workflow on behalf of the entire process. It gave it to me. At the same moment, we are expecting email also. Let's go back and let's look at if we have received email. Yes, we have received one email also that we have exported and we can receive that. Now, before we move further, let's go back to the main process that we saw today. The process was, let me go back to task mining. Okay, so we saw the process, which is we trained the evaluation pipeline. We'll refresh it. We have successfully evaluated and it took 264 seconds. Now let's go back to task mining and refresh this web page, and we will have our UiPath Acme, sorry, UI demo application. So click on UI demo, discovery results, and we have 3 tasks identified out of this process that we have done. Now you can see here UI demo application. There are 3 tasks which were identified: task 0, task 1, task 2. You can click on any one of them. So let's click on this one. Now there are traces. There are overall how many traces? There are total 20 traces. You can see withdrawal. There is a loop right here in the layout and something like this. All these things you can rename. So don't worry about that. Sorry for the, excuse me for this. I'll click on any one of the trace. And in this trace, what do I have? So I have these applications. Now here the screenshots are not recorded. Just give me 1 second. Here the screenshots are not recorded is because there is the data privacy on this laptop. That's why the screenshots are not recorded. And that's where UiPath takes care of all the possibilities, because of the data privacy, because of the firewall, it could not record the screenshots, and that's totally fine with me. On my personal laptop though, it was able to record the screenshots as well. So that was great. And here also we can export process definition document, export to UiPath Studio. We can have a look at, you see, UI demo application, 60% of work, Excel application, 40% of work, and we have such traces and we have such processes available here in UI demo. So we were able to do it within this live session, and we just now used UiPath task mining within a live session, and we saw how we can use it. Isn't it an awesome and wonderful tool? So we have seen how we can use UiPath task mining extensively and we can get the results in the discovery tool. Now, once we have seen that, let's have a quickly look. Before we jump onto the questions, I would like to show that you can connect with me on YouTube for any more further updates. I keep on posting all the latest knowledge on UiPath and all the applications and all the products which comes very soon. This is my YouTube channel. You can just search Nisar Kadam on YouTube and you can have a look at this channel where I have uploaded so many awesome videos which you can go through and you can create your own use cases. Now, before we jump on the questions, we will open for questionnaire round. But before we do that, we have a fun game where we have a presentation on Mentimeter. Now, I hope all of you are attentive with me. So all I want you to do is just search on your Google mentimeter.com. All you have to do is search mentimeter.com, and then I will start presenting this slide. Okay.
Sir, you will have to share the code before anyone.
Yes, I will share the code also.
So you have to go to menti.com, menti.com and not Mentimeter. So just go to menti.com and this is the code.
Okay, so let me also paste the code in the chat section. So I have pasted the code that you need to enter in the chat section, and we have only 4 questions. So let me know once you all are logged in and once you all are in. So I will quickly click here. So we have total around 20 to 22 people, 23 people. Let's see how many people can jump in. So Vibor also has shared www.menti.com link that you need to enter in your Google, and then you need to enter the code which I have given.
Is per menti.com, I need to correct it.
So we have 10 candidates as of now logged in. I'm waiting for all of you to jump in.
Let's wait for 30 more seconds, then we can
start. We'll wait for 30 more seconds and then we can get started with our questions. We have 11 members now. Now, isn't this fun? Because with each member, you will receive a small icon for you. You can see your icon right here. So we have 12 people now in the meeting. Sorry, on Menti. We have 13. And the game is about fastest finger. So you have to read the question and you have to answer as fast as possible. And around the end of the questions, we can all already see who is the winner on the spot. So we don't have to wait for that. Now everybody is logging in and make sure to use your real name because we have to know who is the winner, right? So we are still waiting. Another 20 seconds and we'll get started. Okay, so now let's get started. So I will start with the first question. So the first question is, which service do we need to enable for using task mining? You have 20 seconds to answer. Out of 12 people, who is answering? Which service do we need to enable? And the time's up. So 11 people answered AI Center, which is a correct answer. Now let's go ahead to the next slide and we can see the dashboard who has answered fast. So we have received fastest response from Saad. Okay, so Saad is now leading the leaderboard. Let's go ahead. So almost everyone is on the equal speed. That's good. Let's go ahead with the next question. So the next question, and here's your question on the screen. How many users can we invite to our tenant in bulk invite users? We have 20 seconds to answer this question. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow. Everybody answered within time. So 6 people have given the correct answer. Let's look at the leaderboard. Is Sat still leading the leaderboard? Let's have a look at that. So now, okay. With the additional score, Manjeet was the faster to answer this question, but Ashish Agrawal is leading the leaderboard, and that's good. So, isn't it interesting? Let's move on with our next question, which is a third question. So, question number 3, and here's your question. UiPath task mining comes under which phase? Does it come under discover, build, manage, or run? Okay, I think everybody has voted already. That's great. So, oh wow, that's good. So almost 90% people answered correct. Let's look at who was the fastest this time. Now on the leaderboard, we have scores added. Abhishek was the fastest, and Abhishek is also leading the leaderboard. Wow, congratulations, Abhishek. And now over to the final question. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3, and here's your final question. Which pipeline do we need to execute in order to get the discovery results? Is it the full pipeline, valuation pipeline, or the train pipeline? 13, 12 people have already voted, 13. So everybody already voted. Wow. Almost 80% people gave correct answer. And now, before we move ahead and see who is the winner, are you guys excited? So let's go 1, 2, and 3. Let's quickly have a look at the leaderboard of who is going to be the winner. So the fastest answer was from Ashish, and Ashish is the winner. Congratulations, Ashish. So Vibhor, now we can, so as we know that who is the winner, we have noted down Ashish is the winner. Congratulations, Ashish, once again. And now we can get started and we can open for questions. So let me go back to the presentation slide, and here we have the questions. So we can unmute, you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions if you have any based on the entire session. And I hope you loved the session. Thank you so much. Guys, you can unmute or you can also put your question in the chat if you have any questions. Abhishek is saying great session, quiz was fun. Thank you, Abhishek. Okay, so we have a question from Ashish. Vipur, we have enabled unmute option, right? I think yes, we have. Okay, but still, I'll take the question from the chat. So we have a question from the Ashish. To get task mining license for community edition, do we need to request for free enterprise trial? Ashish, as of now, UiPath task mining is not available for free community edition. I think we have to use it from the insider preview portal, but I still need to get the confirmation on that. So you can keep checking insider portal for upcoming products, and that's where you will get all the updates of when the task mining will be available. So it's officially available with the 2021.4 release, but it sure will come definitely for use, preview use. You can use that. Thank you, Ashish, for the question. Any more questions? Was my session too good or too bad that I don't have any questions?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So first, thank you for the presentation. And I have a question about the model that will analyze the data and then create the workflows, etc. My question is if, like, for example, we have 3 users who are invited to participate in the task mining activities. And among these 3, we have one user that who does different actions. So his activity is highly skewed, you know, it's not like only the activities that are related to the process itself. So my question is how high the impact of this actions recorded from this user on the machine learning model and on the final process?
Wow, great question, Nadia. Thank you so much for this question. So yes, obviously, the impact will not be there on the different users, because what happens is if you look at the task mining profile or a discovery page, there we can classify the task being analyzed by the different users. Now, as I am the only one user right now, and I have not tried and tested it with the multiple users, but we can classify the results of the analysis from by user to user. So the user which is doing random techniques and which is doing some random work which doesn't have any pattern, it will basically not impact another user's data analysis or another user's task mining, but another user's data which will be mined and will be processed and analyzed will be come under the specific user. For example, if I have 3 user A, B, C, so under user A, I might have certain processes which are analyzed, and I can only look at that processes from user A. From user B, I might have not any recording, or I might not get any analysis process, because user B does not did not do anything which is repetitive or which has a logical meaning. So it does not impact on other users. It impacts only on the user which is doing the job. So I hope that answers your question. And as it's still in the preview mode, even I have to explore that feature. Even I am interested in knowing that how it works. But in machine learning, it won't definitely impact on the user.
Great, thank you. So just to continue in the same topic, the other question is there like a possibility where you can, if you can identify such actions or traces that you don't want to find in your final process, is there like a loop when you can go back and make the model reanalyze the final data or the selected traces to have a better result?
So there is an option called as recompute the process, and that recompute comes when you have a specific analyzed process. So now we have, as we have already seen, we have couple of traces, that 20 to 30 traces that I saw. If I click on recompute the task, what it does, it basically I can get go ahead and I can specifically choose only one trace which looks specific to my process, which links to my process more closely, and I can click on this recompute and I can get started with computing again, or analyzing again. But let's say if my model is already trained, and even if after training the model, after it discovers the process, if I again start recording new processes with the same users, if I start recording, if I again start doing the same thing, it will automatically again update the data in the data set in the ML model. And the next time that I want to retrain the model, I have to run the validation pipeline again one more time. The validation pipeline once executes, the data analysis data in the task mining will also be updated. And the things that we can see in the discovered phase or discover results phase will also be updated based on the updated data.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Those were wonderful questions, Nadia. We have one more question from Ashish. Will this recording be available on UiPath website? Yes, Ashish, you will get you'll get this link on the same page that you have RSVP. You'll get it in some time after the session. Okay, if we don't have any more questions, we can close on the session. Thank you so much, everyone, for the joining. You can connect with me if you have any more questions on LinkedIn, on my YouTube channel that you have already. And also you will get the recording on the same link available. Thank you so much for attending the session.